Lord of the Dance is one of the most popular dance theatre productions currently in circulation, and was based off, and is based off the original Lord of the Dance, which came out about 20 years ago. It has sold worldwide, and it's garnered a lot of positive reception. And a few days ago, I actually went to go see it. For those who don't know, Lord of the Dance was, well, it's a dance production, so it's mainly focusing on the dancing and not so much a story. But there is a story to this one in particular. And the type of dancing they do is based off Irish solo step dance, I think it's called, which, if you could guess, originates from Ireland. And, you know, when I went to go there, I was kind of expecting... Well, honestly, I was kind of expecting him to do just, like the... I don't know what you call it. I guess solo step dancing, where you just hands behind you, hands to the side, and you just move your feet, because, well, that's just what I've been exposed to. And I was surprised. It was actually a lot of... Well, unfairly surprised, but I was actually surprised, because it was a lot of... Like, they had quite a lot of dance routines planned in, and it wasn't just side to step. There was like a few parts where they'd go really fast with their moves, and the crowd would go nuts over it. Like, they just cheer with the clapping. It was pretty wild in some parts. And, you know, I didn't think it was going to be that good because, well, I don't know. And, well, I was kind of right. It was one of the #1 dance things around, dance theatre productions. I honestly didn't really find a lot of enjoyment out of it. I mean, it was good, but I wouldn't call it the best or anything. Yeah, so I'm not sure. So, but other people like it, so good for them. But if you are watching this, you probably want to know what my thoughts are, or you just stumbled upon me by accident. In that case, hello there. But yeah, let's get started. First off, let's start with the plot. I did say there was a plot, but there's not really much of one. So basically, there's this female creature, which is just a woman dressed in a blue suit, and on the screen projection, there's this really giant face. And he's like really hungry. He's like, you're trapped in here now, huh? You're not gonna get out. And he's really expressive, and he's a ton of fun. And he's only on for like a minute through the whole production. And so he's trapped him. And then they go straight to dancing. And then next scene, she's just playing a flute and exploring and interacting with things, and she's just dancing. Then there's like these bad guys that apparently want to kidnap her, or is associated with the big giant face on screen, and then more dancing. And then there's this guy who's the Lord of the Dance, or wants to be the Lord of the Dance, and he's the good guy. And then he dances. And then the bad guys find the blue creature, break the flute, and then do a victory dance. Then the good guy comes in and starts dancing. Then a temptress steals the good guys, I don't remember, maybe it was the belt, and gives it to, I think it was the belt, and gives it to the bad guy, and then they dance. No, it's pretty much all dancing. That's all they really do. It's the plot is just an afterthought. It's all dancing. Like, I haven't seen the original Lord of the Dance, so I can't, like, compare it as old versus new, like the Nostalgia Critic does. But I recall someone telling me that there was no plot and it was just all dancing. And it probably would have been better if there was just no plot and it was all just dance routines. I mean, like I said, it's an afterthought, and like I guess it got a story across, but it wasn't a very good story, and it was just kind of overshadowed by the dancing. So yeah, I wouldn't really rate the story that high. Not bad. Actually, it was kind of bad, but not something I'd probably... No. It was too stereotypical in a sense that, you know, the person's kidnapped and then the hero comes in and tries to save him. Except it just kind of glanced over everything and just showed random... Like, the girl actually escaped the bad guy, and then the guys went to go find, and then the bad guys went to go find him and her. Yeah, I honestly don't know, really currently remember what happened, because it just didn't really leave that much of an impact on me. Okay, with that out of the way, I guess we can go to the characters. Most of them are pretty boring. Like, they did, like, it's about 20 cast members, and, you know, they all play different roles. There's only 5 main characters, I think, and the other 15 are the sides. So I guess we should just go with the main characters. The good guy, or the Lord of the Dance. He shows up halfway through it. He uses his epic dancing moves to try and save the blue creature and get the belt back. I didn't really like him. I know he was supposed to be the good guy, but halfway through the thing, like halfway through the play, like the last third, in comes this girl who sings throughout the play and does like just a few song numbers, which I'm not sure whether they're there for a reason or I didn't really make them out that well. And then in comes the Temptress, and then like he's dancing with the supposed love interest, and then he just goes along to Temptress like, oh, bye girl, I didn't care about you anyway, just want the body. And then yeah, it's pretty much that, back and forth to the Temptress and the good girl, and he smacks her ass, the Temptress. Like, and then he gets tricked out of his belt. Like, okay, besides the terrible romance to begin with, he was just, well, yeah, yeah, I guess in the sense of the play, I assume they were supposed to be together, so he just went along with this other girl as if she was no problem, so he's kind of a douche, quite frankly. Now, the bad guy, he was just a beautiful man. Like, when he first appeared with his costume on the dance stage, I was just laughing because I was like, oh my god, he looks like a biker, like one of those biker people with with the mask similar to, you know, the thousands when the witch doctor, similar to witch doctor mask, like a biker witch doctor. And then he just began dancing with heavy metal playing in the background mixed with the Irish music, and he just did the dance, and my mouth was gaping over with happiness the whole time. And then he comes in and gets the girl, and then he breaks the flute. I'm just like, yeah, look what I did! And then he begins dancing again. And then in comes the good guy who tries to beat him up, and I was like, God, don't let the bad guy lose. He's the most fun character in the whole production. And then it comes to final battle, and it looks like he's won. And he breaks the flute, but the flute gets put back together. And then the blue creature plays the flute, and then, the good guy takes off his shirt to reveal his muscly abs, and he beats the crap out of him. Like, one punch and there's an explosion of sorts. And I was honestly not very happy about that, because, like I said, the bad guy was a lot of fun, and I really, I knew he was supposed to lose, but he was just such a good bad guy. I can't think of many good bad guys that I've seen in theater productions that I'd actually root for, but this guy, I honestly would have given him a weapon just to help him win. I wouldn't go that far, but, it was just fun. Now, the blue creature. She's the princess, I assume, and she gets captured. She interacts with things. She winds up these two girls as, I don't know what you call them, but they're on the back of toys, and you twist them, and that's it. Then she plays the flute. Then she interacts with more things and plays the flute. Then she gets it broken, and then the flute's flicked. She plays the flute. She gives the guy a kiss, I think, or was it some kind of dance? Yeah, it wasn't very memorable, quite frankly. That was kind of pretty standard and boring. Yeah, I want to go to boring. I did not find her character very interesting because, well, she didn't have much to go off of as well as the other main characters. Now, there was this girl who did like 4 musical productions and was the supposed love interest. Yeah, she had a nice voice. She had a pretty nice voice, but she only really seemed to do song numbers in between dance numbers and get, I don't know, watch her supposed boyfriend just completely ignore her because the temptress. Yep, not much to say about her. And what about the temptress? Well, she wears thick latex red as if she's the devil's temptress. And she does dances. And she's very, like, she's definitely erotic in her movements. Like, she's constantly kind of motioning her body. Like, she's kind of motioning, her, like, her figure. And, well, she gets her ass smacked by the good guy and the bad guy. And she gives the bad guy about... Look, I'm just gonna say it now. Okay, let's just get this over with. All the characters were... I don't really have much to say about them. I'm trying, but there's just so little I can really say about them. I mean, is there anything else I can talk about? Oh yeah, they had music, didn't they? I guess I could talk about that. Well, they're all variants of the traditional Irish, you know, songs. Like, they'd all kind of stick to an Irish roots, but sometimes you'd get a little bit of heavy metal or kind of whimsical... Well, except for the song numbers, I'm pretty sure those weren't very Irish, except the final one. Not really. I guess I do remember the songs a little bit, but yeah, there's not really much to comment on. It's just not really my kind of music. I mean, the heavy metal music with the bad guys, that was perfect compliment. But yeah, I mean. It was definitely well made, but not very memorable. You know, it's kind of like songs you hear on the radio and you think, oh, this sounds really good, but then when you leave it, you're like, what did I just listen to? How did it go again? You know, it's like that. Oh, and another thing about this is that they actually would have, like, CGI'd backdrops and all that to kind of add the atmosphere of the thing, of the theatre production. And these were the best parts of the entire production, in my opinion. I mean... Like, it's like Pixels, you know? The main aspect is the CGI, weirdly enough. Well, except with Pixels, that was expected, but the CGI in a dance production should be, well, kind of just like a little bit of an afterthought. No, the CGI was beautiful. I mean, it created, like, really colorful landscapes, you know, backdrops. It was just wonderful. I guess, like, there were 2 screens, and one of them wasn't very high def compared to the main one, but still, it was just... Yeah, it was just clap, whoever worked on that. But speaking of the CGI, they're actually... Remember the plot I was talking about? Well, how they transition between everything was really confusing. Like, at the start, they had, like, this clock turning, and this boy trying to turn the clock, and then this guy comes in and hugs the boy and helps the boy get the clock properly, and then... Well, I guess that part's just, like... to show from how far they came. But the rest of it was pretty weird. Like, sometimes it just, like, completely stop whatever's happening to transition to Lord of the Dance, and then have a musical number. And they do that, and they do it, like, twice throughout the whole thing, and it was just... Yeah, I really don't know. Like, it was all very beautiful. They had, like, they'd have stars shimmering down. They'd have, like, those Chinese lamps float up in the sky. Yeah, it was... Yeah, no, I mean, I had more to say about the transitions and the plot, but I just can't, for the life of me, remember it. Like, because it was all just transitionings to another dance number. Honestly, I would have probably preferred it if they didn't go with the dance numbers. Like, no, not that. With the plot. But then again, I might not have enjoyed it as much, despite it being a better choice, because then there wouldn't be anything to kind of, like, you know, set the scene and such. It'd just be dance numbers. So, it'd just be a dance theater, and, I don't know, I like a good plot to the story. That's really all I have to say about it, if I can think about it. I guess I could talk about the order, how the audience reacted to a few of the things. There was one point in the musical production where the 8 women on stage like took off their shirts and they were just like wearing bras, and then they began dancing, and pretty much every man's attention was like, I mean, let's face it, sex just drives our interests sometimes, and yeah, everyone, all the men were definitely paying attention, definitely with this one guy I went with. It was like, I was not expecting that, but he didn't. And, you know, when the guys took off their shirts, there weren't really even that much reactions, like surprising. Like, I don't know, I always kind of figured both genders to react pretty much the same when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I guess, no, when the main guy took off his shirt, all of them were like, woo! And all that, because, you know, he's the hero and he's a hunk. The perfect combination, am I right? Am I right? That's the Twilight for you. Yeah, everyone seemed to like it. Like, they were clapping when the clapping productions, the people would actually, who did the play, when it seemed like they were done, they would motion you for more applause, and then they go do an encore. It kind of seemed a little cheap to me to do that, but whatever, I'm not gonna judge, I am judging them, but you know what I mean. I had something else to say, but what was it? Well, yeah. Overall, yeah, I should probably go for a rating. Well, Lord of the Dance was definitely a very interesting production, and I did enjoy it to an extent. But then again, that's to an extent. There were just things that rubbed me the wrong way, and while the music and the backdrops could be nice, all the music sounded the same, and especially the dance numbers, they all looked very similar. Oh god, I forgot about the dance numbers. Okay, let's talk about the dance numbers. They all seemed very similar to one another. Like, it's kind of like when you go to a talent show and there's a kid dance or a person dancing, and then towards the end they run out of dance moves and they start repeating their own dance moves just, you know, because they got nothing. It's pretty much what the whole dance segments were. They were able to keep my interest, but you know, you can't help but notice that they're all very similar. I mean, it's Irish dancing. There's only so much you can do with a specific type of like dance. But the problem with Irish dancing is that it's all pretty much toe tapping and similar stuff to that. So it's pretty easy to spot when things are getting repetitive. And like, I mean, when they were doing like the really fast tap dancing, the audience was like going woo, and you know, doing the clapping again. So, and I'll admit that's pretty impressive. I'd never be able to do that. Actually, speaking of the dance moves, they'd actually have sound effects playing whenever they hit the ground, so it seems like the noise is traveling throughout the thing, like the theater hall. And sometimes it get a little out of sync, so it was kind of took you out of that thing, saying, wait, are they dancing on the ground? So the audio, I mean, it got better towards the end, but otherwise it was a little bit off-putting. Oh yeah, they also had something else in the play. There was actually, like, these two girls would play the violin. Well, I guess they would, but the actual music would kind of play, so and I guess they weren't really playing it, but, you know, whatever. They played a violin to the music while the people danced, and yeah, like, it was definitely it was nice, but, you know, then it comes out 3 more times, and it's like, well, it was nice the first time, you know. Yeah, I should continue with the rating. So, putting everything I said in perspective, I'd give it a 5. Like, maybe I'm thinking of a 6, but mainly all I really get from it is like a 5 out of 10. Like, because, you know, it had good elements, and it had bad moments, but they're kind of, like, the same amount and the same, like, magnitude is pretty equal, so it's like, but both equal good and bad moments. And that's pretty much why I give it a 5, because I can't honestly, I don't want to repeat I don't really want to go back things I already said, because I don't want to sound like I'm just droning on, even though I probably already am, and you're probably not even watching this because you've quit it like, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. I'll never get good at doing these. So, yeah, thanks for listening. If you did actually go and see the play, and you want to, I don't know, tell me your thoughts, do it in the comments, because that's what they're for. And also for starting flame wars, so you can laugh at people for getting into the flame war. I mean, I don't start flame wars, but you kind of do have to find it a little funny how people can get really involved in it. Yeah, I might cut this out. Anyway, bye-bye.